Good evening, everyone. And we are very happy to have you here in the last session of our online course on counseling basics. And it is again a pleasure to have Suresh Kumar sir to conclude the course, as he was the one to start the course as well. So I hope you all enjoyed whatever happened in the past 9 days and hope you found it useful. So without further ado, we will begin the session now with Suresh sir, and he's going to talk about client-centered counseling. And he has already informed in the group that in itself, the topic takes quite a bigger course, but he's trying to introduce the topic today with whatever important is for us today. Yeah. So let's begin the session, sir. Thank you for being here. And on behalf of the Red Pond Educational and Psychological Research Center and Yellow Pond Counseling Center, along with Dr. Suresh Kumar Murugesan, I welcome you all to the ultimate session of our course today. So have a nice session.
Thank you, Chandra. I think first I would like to take time for express my gratitude to all the participants, because without you all, I think this program is not successful. Each one of you, I think your participation, your involvement, and dedication to make this program more successful. For that, please accept our gratitude. And second person is on the coordinator, Dr. Chandra. I think I know her. Many of you may know that how committed she is, and sometime I may miss out that program, and she is the one reminded me, okay, these are things we need to done. So please accept my gratitude, Dr. Chandra, and Vishal, Mugund, and Anita, and all the students, especially Sanmur Priya, Archana, Hemaruban, and the set of students from UG students from Vyagaraja College. I think they are at the age. I think I still remember when I was doing. I never had an vision to attend this kind of program, but you are having, that means you are having the vision. You have to settle down in the field of psychology. So that shows that your commitment in the field. So for that, also my appreciation and gratitude for joining the program. And we will move on to that. Today is the final day of our training and intensive program on counseling. Client-centered therapy or client-centered counseling. I can say that it's not practically not possible to complete in an hour. So first thing you have to understand that. And when I was gone through the material, see, even I had a few programs on that. I have reported some of the content when I was teaching the counseling program on MSc Counseling Psychology. What I found here, and we need at least 30 hours to complete client-centered therapy alone. Minimum 30 hours we need. Enormous content is there. Even when we say that the word empathy, congruence, positive regard, these were the terms when it comes to client-centered counseling, it just comes in our mind. But when we get into know about those things, I think it is an in-depth knowledge. We need in-depth content is there to understand the concept. I still remember, I will share my experience. So when we were a student at college, I still remember one of the faculty who come and teach in a particular theory, especially learning theory. Nothing but Pavlov's learning theory. Pavlov's learning theory. Okay. So I told him that. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'm sorry, there is an instruction to my kids. I'm in my native place. So you can see there are some changes in my background also. It's because of that. Okay, I will come back to that, what I told. So when we were a student, one of the faculty who come and taught that subject called Pavlov's learning theory. We had a chit chat with other person. Okay, and he told me that, still I remember, if Pavlov is there in the class, just imagine that. Okay, when the teacher is teaching the learning theory, classical conditioning theory of learning, when the Pavlov is sitting in that classroom, immediately after the class, we were in the second floor of the university. he will commit suicide. He will go and jump from the second floor. That is a comment I received. It is because, see, when the person who were developing the theory, they had some idea. Okay, they had some idea. When it comes to other person, what we are sharing to you, based on my perspective, my understanding about the topic only I'm sharing with you. It doesn't mean that I'm reflecting 100% what the theory was proposed by that person. I'm transforming it to you. No. My reading about the content, my understanding about the content, I'm sharing with you. So, I hope if there is any mistakes in my component, I have another notion in my mind. My principle is that if I read something, I must understand that. If I teach to myself, if I understand, definitely other members will understand. That way only I read more and more content. I know that where to get and what information we need. When you look at the client-centered therapy, I am having minimum 3 to 4 PDF books. And one book, the page is long between more than 1,000 pages. And another book, it is on 300 pages, another 500 to 600 pages. And these many pages are there. And when we read that, the same information they will give in different manner and unnecessary information we can find out in almost all the textbook. And what is the benefit out of getting the textbook? I can say the reference book. The benefit is we can, for example, if you are in a visualization, if you do the visualization, you can travel with that person, you can understand that the more and more examples to clarify the thought. But many of us, for example, after the UG, we have the capacity to understand the concept by giving the briefing that, okay, what is a red color? We all know that, okay. We need a brief information about that. We can able to understand that we are expecting those information. Do you know there are many colors, these are the primary colors. Instead of saying this, you can directly go to the red color. So likewise here also, I thought about, okay, what is claims in the therapy? What are the essence of that? And what are the components we need to focus on that? When you look at that, most of the PPT, and it is an outcome of that, what we can say an abstract and the essence of that theory only. I give a minute. I do share my presentation with you all. As I said earlier, and you and Dr. Chandra also told you, and I'm going to tell you only the basic important points in the theory. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. I will take 30 to 35 minutes for explaining the theory. I think when you were introduced by different types of counseling, can anyone tell me what are the different types of counseling? It can be classified in many manners.
Direct counseling, indirect counseling, and eclectic.
Eclectic. This is a one classification. Yeah. Can you tell me one more classification, one or two more classifications? This one is based on the nature. We can say that directive counseling, non-directive, and eclectic. Can you tell me one or two other methods we can classify the counseling?
The group counseling or individual counseling?
Yes, Ms. Coyle, I'm not getting that. Little louder.
Sir, group counseling, individual counseling?
Yeah, group counseling and individual counseling based on the number of individuals we can classify, lovely classification. And one more we can add, couple counseling also in that category. Okay, any other classification? Any other classification?
So direct and indirect counseling, sir.
Yes.
Direct and indirect counseling, sir.
Direct and indirect counseling. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, direct and indirect. That's why direct counseling, non-direct counseling. The same thing which we are already told. Any other classification?
In COVID, offline counseling.
Bala Abhirami given a right handshake here, and I will come to you, Ms. Payal. She said that based on the developmental stages, we can classify into child counseling, adolescent counseling, youth counseling, adult counseling, and geriatric or elderly counseling. That is one more classification. Any other? Ms. Payal, over to you. Yes. Lovely, lovely. Online counseling and offline counseling. and this is the time I think this classification is very popular. Even telephonic counseling, online and offline. Online counseling, telephonic and video chats. Audio only, video only, audio and video only. These different categories are there. And why we have to know the different types of it? See, when we know the particular problem, for example, when we are not able to reach the person, and the person is far away from the place, if you go there and get the counseling, it takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy. And when you want to cut down those components, online or telephonic counselings are most effective. Most effective. But when it comes to that, the person having the problem, please underline the word, when the person having the problem, moderate or severe level, this telephonic and video counseling will not work. Because the counselor who need to observe the person very closely and understand that the problem, they need to be there, because some of the cues we may, it is very difficult to get it from that online mode. That's why the severity, based on the severity, I can say that if it is on mild level, online or telephonic counseling are most appropriate. Okay. We'll come to that other classification, client-centered counseling. It is, I think, I hope when you were, remember what I told in my that introduction to counseling, I told that when we give that out of 100%, out of 100%, which counseling is mostly practiced by counselors right now. Okay. If you ask me that, client-centered counseling occupies 80 to 85%. Those who are providing counseling, they are follow this client-centered counseling 80 to 85%. Why? The reason is there. When it comes to the directive counseling, the source is there from Sigmund Freud and Joseph Breuer. From there only they adapted this directive counseling, where the counselor or therapist will say that what I am saying, you have to do that. Just merely follow the instruction. Okay. There are chances that the therapy which were suggested to the client may not be successful. There are chances. In that case, they will say that because of you only told me that I followed, but which is not working, and you have to take that accountability and responsibility for my failure. To avoid those things, the best suggested method is on client-centered therapy. Why? It is because client-centered counseling or client-centered therapy or person-centered counseling or Rogerian counseling, there are many names are there for this. There are many names are there. These are some of the other names for client-centered counseling. Non-directive counseling, client-centered therapy, client-centered counseling, person-centered counseling, person-centered therapy, Rogerian counseling. So these are the other names for that. Here, generally when we ask them whether we need a professional training for that, if we have that basic understanding counseling, I think we need not. If you want, according to him, every one of us, we are having the potential to know answer for the problem what we are having. Okay, if I'm the person X or Y, if I'm having the problem, that means I have the capacity or potential to find out a right decision for overcoming the problem what I'm having. That is the main essence of this client-centered therapy. And client-centered counseling is based on the humanistic approach, okay, which was developed by Carl Roger. Humanistic approach believe that, for example, in behaviorism, how the behaviorism theory works, behaviorism therapy works based on, for example, we are observing that animal, and if it is, we can able to do with the animal, we can able to do with human beings also, like scientific laboratory method. But when it comes to this method, why you are comparing with the animals? They are saying that no, every person is unique, and every person having the potential. For example, if I give 200 pages to read and understand that for 5 members, And one person can read the 500 pages in an hour, and another person he will read in a day. Another person it may take in a week. Another person may take in a month. So that means every person may have the potential, but the time taken for completing that task is varying. That is why individual difference. Okay. And he believed that every one of us we are having that good. Every one of us good. The expert and their experience will help them to find a solution for the problem. We all know that hierarchy of needs. Biological needs, psychological needs, love and belonging needs, self-esteem and self-actualization. We are all striving towards achieving the self-actualization, understanding our potential and act according to our potential. We are striving, we are moving towards that. Okay. And that striving, that movement towards that ladder of self-actualization itself help us to overcome the problem in our life. So the main important component of this therapy is the client having that potential. Okay, they have the strength and potential. I'll give one example here. Many of us, some people, when we are having the problem, no, I can't do that. This kind of word we may hear it. Am I right? As you all aware about that Hanuman story, Bal Hanuman story. When he was a kid, Hanuman was a kid. When he saw the sun, he thought that it is a fruit. It is a fruit. He wanted to eat the fruit, so he is moving towards the fruit. And that time there is an Indra and other people said, they said that you don't go there. Vayuputra, I think he's a son of Vayu. And Indra and other members told that, okay, hereafter you are having enormous potential. Someone who come and tell you that you are having this potential, you may not aware about it. That's why whenever he having the second thought, they will come and say to him, to the Hanuman, to that, you are having more potential than anybody else. When they say to him, and he will understand, oh, these many. Likewise, I can say that client-centered counseling is based on such a principle. Okay, but when compared to the relationship with the client, it's more or less Sigmund Freud, a psychoanalysis concept only. For understanding, make the person to get an insight about the problem. It's about, for example, I'm having the problem. To get insight about my problem, we have to go to that Sigmund Freud concept. Sigmund Freud purpose is enable the person to bring the conscious mind what were triggering the problem, what is the cause for the problem, and what is the problem when they re-experiencing that ungratified things. When we gratify the things, when we gratify the ungratified things, will be solved. That insight will, okay, this is the thing. When you release your distress, then you feel comfortable. Okay, that is the main component of here. And here we have to understand that he never used the term called patience. In psychoanalytic theory, they use the term called patience. He deliberately never used the term, but he used that term called claim rather than patience. Patience means the person having the illness, but he believed that they are not an illness person and they are the normal person. They were in a low or ups and downs into that, they are in the down. Okay. He helped the client. That's why his theory is on client-centered therapy. and we can able to make a change. Every one of us, we are having the potential when we provide assistance and when we control that thing and they can reach their goal. They can overcome the difficulties in their life. Some people, they may not have that, how to do that. So what we can do that, when we ask the questions in a way, they will come up, okay. For example, I'm the person, if I'm having the problem, I may not have the solution for my problem. But some of my friend is having the problem, I may, because I'm not having any problem, I'm not the clarity in thought. So I will give number of solutions to the person. So what the counselor will do in client-centered therapy, they will say, for suppose I'm the person having the problem, you are the counselor. what he can say to me, okay, just imagine that you are not having the problem. You imagine that one of your family member or one of your friend having the problem, how will he help you? So that case, I will think about in a way, in a third person, and I will try to find answer for that, the problem, and it will be given in front of the person. Okay, now tell me which one is best. For any problem, you may not have the only one solution for the problem. We may have n number of solutions. Sometimes it may be hundreds. I'll give one example for that. Okay, you all know that brick, the brick. So how many ways we can use the brick? Anyone please tell me? How many ways we can use the brick? And this was the same question asked to the third grade student, and I will tell you how many points they come up. Can you, someone please tell me, brick can be used in different way. What are the way we can use the brick and bricks? Anyone? If there is a bite, we can use some tool to throw the other person's face. Likewise, I am asking you. How many ways we can use the brick?
Sir, in some places they will use as tooth powder also, sir.
Yes, yeah,
Uh,
try to use your name also. Yes. Only two, okay. Paperweight,
Construction, sir.
construction, lovely.
For cooking, sir.
Cooking, yes, to make that, yes,
And for home multiplying, sir.
okay. I'll
ma'am,
use
that is
another,
coming under construction only, ma'am. That is also.
yes. And I would like to come up with, yeah, what, I'll tell you that answers given to third grade students. What they found that third grade students come up with more than 100 ways we can use the bricks. See, that's why in the beginning we may believe that based on our experiences, based on our reading, we may say that, okay, 10 use, 10 ways we can use the brick. But when it comes to that, the third grade children, the wide spectrum different, they may not have, even they are not having the experience, they try to connect, analyze, they come up with many components. And they were asked, okay, which one is best for the particular problem? The same way, in client centered therapy, 100 solutions may be there. They will ask them, can you tell me, prioritize which one is best? That will be happen in client centered therapy, and they will ask them to do that. The core purpose of person centered therapy or client centered counseling is facilitate. Under the word, wherever you can, here we are not a counselor, we are a facilitator. Facilitate that client and to understand their ability to self-actualize them. We have to make them to believe that they are having the potential to solve the problem. That is the only thing we have to do that in that client-centered counseling. The main purpose, you have the potential. Okay, what is the role the client-centered counseling they have to play? Okay, the facilitation and make them to move forward for their personal growth and develop the relationship, allow the client to explore their strength and personal identity. And we have to allow them. You have to explore what your strength, what are your weaknesses, what is your personal identity. Personal identity, just sometimes, for example, we may have the tube line. In the beginning, you need a starter. Okay, when they start, only thing we can start, we can enable the person. We are 8% to make them to make the right decisions. We are go along, we are travel along with them. Only thing whenever they start, we will make them okay. Here you can change that. See, and I even just realized that, for example, I'm your client. I'm coming to your counseling center. You are giving the statement that, see, I'm not a person, I'm not going to solve your problem. I'm going to facilitate you, and you are going to solve your problem. And you have to understand that you are having more potential than anybody else. When we say to these things to the client, okay, here that person is not having all the superiority. If he's not a superior one, he's like a normal person only, and he is making us know that some blocks are there in our thought process. He is going to remove those blocks from our perspective. from our potential, we are going to solve the problem, and the person also feel forward and they will commit it. And another benefit is that if there is a failure in that therapy, there is a failure in the therapy, and the client will say that, okay, the decision made by me only, not by the counselor. And there are a lot of safer side components are there among the counselor side, actually, therapists. But when it comes to the directive counseling, as I said earlier, if there is a counseling therapy which is not working, they will say that you only told that. I'll give you one classical example for that. When the children want to pursue their higher education, okay, many of the parents, they will force them and to enroll the particular program. I still remember one of the students who joined in psychology, and he was not attended any of the courses and he was not clear any of the subject. And whenever the parent meeting, and he will look at the parent and say that you only told I joined here, why are you forcing me to study? I'm not interested. But at the same time, the people who were forcing the parents to join the program, and they were more actively involved in the process. That is the basic difference between directive and non-directive counseling. We'll come to that. What are the main goals? The goals of client-centered therapy or counseling, which were not given by, we understand, which is not given by Paul Roth, it is given by Fuller in 1971. What he said that facilitate personal growth and development, eliminate or mitigate that the feeling of distress. Okay, just eliminate the distress and increase the self-esteem. I think I had an interaction with Dr. Srinivas. I think whenever we have the free time, I used to talk with him. He's a renowned psychiatrist, and he said that when we focus on the self-esteem and self-confidence, we can able to solve many of our mental health problems. Okay, and the third important goal of client-centered therapy is on increase self-esteem and openness to experience. And final goal is enhance. What we have to enhance? The client understanding about themselves. Yes, I can do that. I still remember when we were beginning that mental health webinar series, I never thought that I can do these many sessions. I never thought that I can talk to many universities. Those universities are dream to me. And they are inviting me as a speaker. So these things I understand. So we can do that. We can do that. We have to groom ourselves. We have to practice ourselves. When we dedicate, when we commit ourselves for that, we can able to reach. And these are the goals. We have to ensure that make them the client understand. I'm going to do these things only. Nothing I'm going to do that. We can make it. And the core principles of the client-centered counseling is, see, understand the word, the confidence. What do you mean by confidence? Anyone tell me? Have you heard the word confidence earlier? Especially those who have studied in a Venn diagram in your mathematics class, in your at least 6th standard, you may aware about the word. What do you mean by confidence? Anyone? No. In mathematics, you have studied a Venn diagram. Circle.
Compatibility.
Sir, I think it is for
It's a compatible
Identity. No.
compatibility, sir.
Yes. Compatibility. Lovely Chandra. Okay, Chandra. Lovely. Any others? See, the concurrence we can have a given away. Just imagine there are two circles. Just imagine these are the two circles. Okay. Here, okay, these are two circles are separated. Imagine that there are two circles. And here there is a space, There is no concurrence at all. Here now you can see the concurrence, fully concurrent. Concurrence is compatible with each other. There are two selves we are having. One is real self and another one is ideal self. Real self and ideal self. Real self, what we are right now. Ideal self, what we want to be. Ideal self is what we want to be. And in the gap, there is a concurrence, compatibility with these two is means we are not having any problem at all. But the compatibility is not there between these two, ideal self and real self, you will have many problems. And for Here in client-centered therapy, one of the important principles is you have to make them compatible with your client. Confidence with your client. If you are not having that confidence, when you are not able to connect with the client, you cannot be able to solve the problem of the client at all. The first thing, first principle. And second one is, whatever it may be, the person who has done a crime, the person who has done something, you have to provide unconditional positive regard. Unconditional. See, the best example for unconditional positive regard is, it's not a negative regard, positive regard. Some parents, if they want to make a change in the behavior of the children, they may use that punishment. It is a negative one. Positive way is in a way they can connect with the children to make a change in that. Unconditionally is a motherly figure. The mother, even she is not having the food and she will give food to the children. I still remember. So one of the mother, she is nearly around 65. The son is 55 years and he is on special child. He's on special child and she is taking care of his child even at the age of 55. I think some child marriage, I think so. He's taking care of 67, 55, 12 years difference. And when I saw the video, that is the best example we can understand that unconditional positive regard. Without any expectation. There are many people are, what we can say that Vallala, he rightly pointed out that altruism. In Tamil we can say, Vadiya Paire Kandapodalam Vadine. Unconditional positive regard, without any expectation, we provide our support. So that is an unconditional positive regard. The second principle is, whoever it may be in front of you, you have to provide, even the person is holding you, but you have to show your unconditional love, unconditional positive regard to the person. And third principle is, you have to be empathetic. Empathetic is very difficult. I think in the beginning days, yes, I understand. No. Practically not possible. If I have the pain in my finger, and if I say to you and you can say, yes, I can understand, unless you are having the same kind of pain, you may not understand. Even if you have the pain in your finger, and the intensity of mine and intensity of yours may be differ, and perception of mine and perception of yours differ. And empathy is, we try to make to understand their problem from their perspective as much as possible. That is called empathy. And this can be developed over a period of time. Not immediately after the UG program or immediately after this course, and you cannot be empathetic person. It takes a lot of time. You have to read, you have to study a lot and lots of people in person. When you interact with them, you will understand that. From that perspective, for example, if I'm saying that I'm not able to concentrate, you go from there, but why I'm not concentrating? From their perspective, you can try to understand. And that is the third principle. And this is a core component of the core principles of client-centered counseling. You must develop these three and you must understand these three. Okay. So client-centered therapy can help the people on the different problems. For example, when it comes to that psychoanalytic therapy, catharsis, free association, dream analysis, that helps to overcome that emotional distress. Psychosomatic symptoms of the severe mental health problem. That psychotherapy will be most effective, but client-centered therapy will help us to overcome these problems. Most commonly, which help the person having the anxiety, especially this COVID time. Many of people are having the anxiety and psychosis, dementia, forgetting, depression, mood disorder, negative thought, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And you understand that, you can go and Google it. Top 5 mental health problem of children, top 5 mental health problem of adolescents, top 5 mental health problem of youth and adult. When you search it, and it will come, all these things will come. That means, irrespective of age group, irrespective of category, lifespan, and these client-centered therapy can be used. And especially for the children less than 8 years. Less than 8 years, this won't be much working. And based on my personal understanding, if you are differ, I value or differ. why I'm saying that below 8 years, behavior therapy plays a vital role. Directive counseling. And for special children, directive counseling. So that will work. For others, I can say that claim-centered counseling is the best one. These are the problem. Even if you listed for children, adolescents, youth, and these things will become, I think any one of them will come to that person. And these were the things we have seen already. Confident. The main thing in CC we try to achieve these things. The counselor must be genuine to that client. The client must believe that okay, he's a genuine person. And the counselor must understand that client from their perspective. And whenever non-judgmental, and we have to value the person. Yes, the culture and other components. Okay. Here in client-centered counseling, the counselor will offer what they will provide. They try to help the client to achieve the self-actualization. For that, unconditional positive regard, confidence, and empathetic understanding. The same word I repeated many times. The person-centered approach can help the client to find closer agreement between an idealized self and actual self. Ideal is something, an actual self. Ideal is what we want to become. So they try to make it. For example, this is an ideal self. This is an see the difference. Space. You just bring the close to these things. When you make a closer between this ideal self and real self, and we can overcome many of the problems and achieve better self-understanding and awareness. Who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? That is the thing we will do. We will make the client to understand. Release the feeling of defensiveness. I think you all know the defense mechanism. The insecurity. Just release it. Understand and release it. Have a greater ability to trust oneself. Okay, you believe that he is the person having that. Develop healthier relationship with other members. See improvement in self-expression. There are many of them are struggling to express their themselves. Achieve a healthy and sense of change overall. Overall health component, the sense of healthy, we have to develop in these plans and the therapy. And there are many benefits are there. Many benefits are there. The common benefit out of this is, with that I can stop here. There are other slides you can go through. This is the final slide for today. Greater agreement between the client, ideal self, and then actual self. Then we know that, okay, so we are expecting more, that's why we are having the problem. If I reduce my expectations, what I can able to make it, and that means you won't have any problem at all. Better understanding about yourself. If you trust yourself. And these were the points which were overall improvement in your mental health component. And the Noel is the person who found that these are the benefits. And there are many benefits also there. And with that, I can stop here. And if you have any question for this, we will discuss. Yes, Chandra. I think we can go for a Q&A. I think we can go for any questions we will discuss.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your first session, sir.
The points is very
From
low.
what you're saying,
Low point.
okay, sir. From what you have explained, we understand that it's really a broad topic. I hope the participants found it useful. And participants are most welcome to question our resource person so that we can have a quick discussion and then wind up. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Quick comment or feedback or queries are most welcome.
Sir, it's me, Vishal Mukand. Sir, it's a wonderful presentation, sir. Actually, already you shared this one in this group, sir. So daily we saw that. So it's got memorized for us, sir. So today you are explaining that. So it's very clear for us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes. And we will have your feedback for overall session also you can welcome. Now you can view that what are the area you wish to improve. If you have that point, we can also just open up and we will listen from you.
Actually, I
Sir, I have
disappointed in two topics, sir. Oh, sorry,